Should we change the subject? Should we talk about Prince Harry? Nobody expected to see Harry in London yesterday, but he turned up. I'm just wondering, might there be any significance that it was the day that his father was supposed to be in Paris? That he chose to come to London for the first time? And
I hadn't even thought of
that. I hadn't thought of that. It was a surprise he turned up at the High Court. It's a case involving the Daily.
Yeah, and he can't give evidence because it's an argument between lawyers about whether this case should go ahead. And the technicalities, he's entitled to be there. Of course he was.
This is about phone tapping and phone tagging. And
full disclosure, down the line, he has a case against the Daily Mirror, and I think the Sun too, which will be hotly contested. But it was a surprise he came. There's the case. I also think there is... Just as a human being, and we've discussed the Duke of Sussex's relationship with his brother and his father often. If you fly in from the States and you don't see your family, what does that tell us about the state of their relations?
Well, the King's too busy to see him.
With a coronation. I mean, come on. I mean, a father and a son.
I agree.
Where blaming it is, you know as a dad, you know as a mother, you would...
See your kid.
You'd find time, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd move everything to do it, wouldn't you? You just would.
I can't imagine saying to my son, Jack, or actually my stepson, Tom, who's in America, if he'd flown in yesterday, I'm sorry, Tom, I'm too busy to see you.
Yeah.
What?
There was also the suggestion, of course, that one of the reasons that they may not come to the coronation, though I think they will, Harry and Meghan, is because of the security implications, because, of course, the taxpayer is not providing security anymore. But he rocked up yesterday, and I think he'll probably be there today too. I think he'll be there today too, yeah.
I can imagine the reviewers shouting at the television right now saying this story is not about the relationship between Prince Harry and his family. This story is about the relationship between Prince Harry and your newspaper.
Indeed.
And the tabloids, you know, more generally, as you say, Kevin, there is another case. But, of course, that's, you know, there are legal restrictions around
Look, my newspaper group denies the allegations of any improper behaviour, whether it was phone hacking or any other.
And your lawyers say that they're too old to come before a court. It goes back 30 years, doesn't it?
Yes, 30 years,
Doesn't make them less important. It just means that has to be ruled on in court, whether it is within the legal time frame.
But on the principle as to whether it happened, the paper is quite clear in legal statements that it didn't happen.
And Andrew,
according to your...
And Andrew, when your paper invoked the Human Rights Act to keep the identities under wraps of the people who are accused. So could you just bear in mind those human rights next time we talk about asylum seekers, refugees and migrants? The Human Rights Act and maybe the European Convention on Human Rights, which I would have thought the Human Rights Act leads into. So, just, you know,
The European Convention on Human Rights, I told you before, Kevin, they ain't going to come out of it.
But, Kevin, you make the point that this was a legal ruling to keep the identities of a huge number of journalists.
70.
Private.
Yeah, I'm not disputing it. I can see the reason for it. I am just saying,
in case
on the grounds of consistency and principle...
Smear their reputations if these allegations are not upheld.
Absolutely.
Because
if the case isn't heard...
Rights are important, aren't they? Human rights are important. Just remember, other humans have rights too.
All right, OK.
Nice to be in the news, isn't it?
OK.
Yeah, I don't find it awkward, actually.
The Gary Lineker...
We've been there before.
Well, joining us now is the editor-in-chief of Majesty magazine, Ingrid Seward. Hello, Ingrid. Let's start with that point. I mean, the King issued a statement yesterday, a very brief statement, saying that he's too busy to see Harry on Harry's visit over here. And yet it's the first time Harry's been here for ages. It seems a very odd statement about the father-son relationship. What do you read from it?
Well, that's the royal family. They're always incredibly busy. And the King was meant to be going on a state visit to France, which was cancelled at the last moment. So he had 2-3 days. And you'd think, well, he would be able to see Harry, but then they were obviously jam-packed with appointments. I mean, the royal family just aren't like us. They don't drop in on each other. They have to make appointments. Even a son has to make an appointment to see his mother. Well, you know, when the Queen was alive. So
the King's saying that he's too busy to see his son. You're saying isn't code for I don't want to see him. It's the truth.
No, it's absolutely the truth. He probably didn't know Harry was coming. He didn't know his state visit was going to be cancelled. So he's got a huge number of amount of back work to be doing. And he obviously is too busy. No, I completely understand that.
Do you think that people watching will understand that? Because, yes, they're the royal family and, you know, it's all done by protocol. They're human beings. They could easily drop in on each other, couldn't they, if they really wanted to?
They simply don't drop in on each other. I know it sounds bizarre to us, but if you look into some of the back things that Harry said, this was one of his big gripes, that he could never get to see his grandmother, the Queen, and when he did arrange to see her, he was cancelled, and he couldn't get to see his father. But they don't operate in the world that we operate in. Everything is jam-packed into a diary, and appointments every 20 minutes. I think it would be very, very difficult to live like that.
Let's talk about the timing of this. There was absolutely no need at all for Harry to be there yesterday. These are technical hearings at this stage. It wasn't expected for him to be there. And, of course, his visit yesterday, which must have been in his diary for a while, coincided with the planned visit of his dad to Paris, that state visit to France. Do you read anything into that timing? Was it an attempt to upstage his father and his father's state visit to France?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that he thinks like that. I actually think that probably he's obviously been in conversation with Elton John. They probably decided, maybe they even flew over here together. Harry could even be staying with him in Windsor. They probably decided to both of them to go, and Harry's lawyers wanted him to go. And I don't think that Harry would have even known that his father was going on a state visit. I mean, again, that sounds strange, but that's Harry for you.
Well, that's the royal family for you as well. They're not like us, are they? Thanks very much, Ingrid, for the update. Thank you.